Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, JC Courtside, coming at y'all on Veterans Day, November 11th. First and foremost, y'all, what a night of NBA basketball we had last night. It's basically left me speechless, and we've just started the podcast. In case you guys did miss the NBA last night, don't worry, I got you. We'll break down my three personal favorite games from the night, but there were still some more entertaining ones aside from those top three. So we're going to talk briefly about those other ones, right? But right now I want to highlight on the three games that involved actual game winners at the buzzer type shots, all right? Before we get into any of that, guys, podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. Helps more than you could possibly understand. And YouTube watchers / listeners, drop a like, subscribe. It helps me more than you could possibly ever understand. Now, I think you guys all know the Pistons won again. And I did not want to start with talking about the Pistons. I did not want to start. But because of the discourse I've seen on Twitter, as well as Reddit, I think I have to. I think I have to jump and talk about this game. The Pistons' third game in 4 nights. That's right. Third game in 4 nights ended in a massive comeback overtime win in Detroit, Michigan last night. Let me set the stage for y'all. The Detroit Pistons landed in Detroit at 4 a.m. that same day. They went into the game missing 3 starters and 3 other backups. I'm not talking like end of the bench guys. I'm talking 6 of the top 8 guys on the Pistons rotation were missing. So Cade Cunningham took it in himself. He made the decision himself to go and attempt 45 shots, the most in franchise history, and ended up with the most misses since Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant have done so in their careers. That's right. Cade Cunningham is in a category with Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson for players who have missed the most shots in an NBA game ever. And that's what it took to win. Cade finished with 46 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, 5 steals, 2 blocks, and guess what? He was a plus 10 on the court. So when he was on the court, the Pistons were winning by 10 points. Outscored the Wizards by 10 points. Now, again, it's against the Washington Wizards, so I understand that you might say they're a horrible team. They're on an 8-game losing streak. Fine. But I think we all know that in the NBA, anything can happen on any given night. CJ McCollum went for 42 points on the other side. And Cade finished with 46 and a triple-double. Not to mention the 5 steals and 2 blocks. He had a very bad game efficiency-wise. But people seem to think that Pistons fans care. We don't care. I'm here to tell y'all, we do not care about how inefficient it was. I saw a tweet last night that I want to regurgitate to you guys because it's truly how I feel about this game. Everybody acting like they haven't seen a superstar empty the clip in a game and shoot inefficiently before is comedy. Y'all just started watching the NBA tonight? We've seen AI, Kobe, LeBron all have games like this where they have to put the entire team on their back and try to get the win. People were watching this game through a calculator because they were only looking at numbers. That's all they were looking at. And my favorite quote is from Kenny Beecham, the GOAT. And he said, sometimes you got to stop being an analyst and be a goddamn fan. And I fully agree to that sentiment. I fully agree. People are coming at Cade and insulting him for putting up that many shots. I'm here to applaud him. We needed all of them. Cade was gassed. Duren was gassed. Again, they got back in Detroit at 4 a.m. that same day. He was missing easy shots. Shots that he normally makes in the paint. He was missing. On top of that, and I think the biggest moment, arguably, we'll talk about the actual end of the game. The biggest moment is that when Cam Whitmore, you're on my shit list now, bud. When Cam Whitmore went for a block on Cade Cunningham, and they fouled Cade hard. He landed very hard on his tailbone. Had to go back into the locker room while the referees reviewed it. My thing is, it was a normal foul. It was just a hard foul. But he stood and looked over Cade afterwards. I'll tell you this. If Isaiah Stewart had done that, he would have been not only ejected, he would have been fined. He would have been, I'm sorry, I'm getting really heated right now. He would have been ejected, he would have been fined, and he would have been put under Alcatraz Island. That's how serious that would have been. But Cam Whitmore, all he got was a technical foul. Cade went into the locker room, came back out, and put 17 points on their head from then on. So, people are wondering if Pistons fans are upset about that inefficient night. No, we got the win. We were missing Asar Thompson, Jaden Ivey, Tobias Harris, all three starters. We were also missing Karis LeVert, our backup ball handler, essentially. Marcus Sasser, our backup ball handler. And Isaiah Stewart, who may as well be a starter on this Pistons team. The Pistons saw minutes from two-way players and G League players. With all due respect, they played well. Nobody wanted to shoot. And that's why the Pistons had to do it. That's why Cade had to do what he did. Plain and simple. Nobody wanted to shoot. Bobby Klintman didn't want to shoot. He had good minutes. He was our second-round pick last year. Chaz Lanier, our rookie, he was a second-round draft pick. He played well in the minutes he had, but again, they did not want to shoot. Dennis Jenkins is the only one that started to shoot in the fourth quarter, and Dennis freaking Jenkins, a two-way player for the Detroit Pistons, who we have been, all the fans have been campaigning for him to play these games while Marcus Sasser's out. He finished with 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 steals. The majority of those points in the fourth quarter, by the way. Not just that. Javonte Green, a player who we picked up a week before training camp started. The guy who's played international, the guy who's been on 7 or 8 NBA teams, is proving valuable for the Detroit Pistons, extremely valuable. In the late game situation, he contested every single one of the Washington Wizards threes. Most of them he blocked at the three-point line and then had this emphatic jam at the end of the game. Javonte Green should not be playing 38 minutes in an NBA game, but he did last night, and he had to. We were missing way too many players. I want to circle back to Dennis Jenkins. He hit, mind you, the Pistons were down by 13 with a few minutes left in the game. They were down 5. They were down 5 with 9 seconds left in the game. Cade inbounded. Dennis Jenkins, big 3 ball. They hit a 3. They foul on the other end. I believe it was Cam Whitmore that missed a free throw. So we were only down 3 with less than 2 seconds left. Less than 2 seconds left. Cade Cunningham, the play was drawn up for Duncan Robinson to get open at the 3. Play went into shambles. Duran was on the floor. Chaz Lanier was on the floor, our rookie. Dennis Jenkins was standing in the corner, wasn't supposed to touch the ball. Cade inbounded it to him. Dennis Jenkins, with no hesitation, put that ball up, and it's good. Send the game to overtime. Pistons won it in OT. Again, Pistons were down by 4 with a minute left. They came back and won. All behind their leader, Cade Cunningham. So for anybody that's sitting here and judging Cade for missing that many shots, you can judge. I'm not going to defend the inefficient night. He missed a lot of shots that he normally makes. My excuse is that I have a bunch of them. The Pistons were down 6 of their top 8 rotation players. The Pistons were playing their 3rd game in 4 nights on the 2nd leg of a back-to-back. I got excuses for days, but for once, I won't have to use them because the Pistons won again. That's a 7-game winning streak for Detroit. And they play tomorrow, Wednesday, November 12th, in Detroit against the Chicago Bulls. It's a rematch from the first game of the year when the Bulls were up by 22 against the Pistons, or 23, and the Pistons came back and only lost by 4. I hope Cade Cunningham will be okay. He landed hard on his tailbone. I hope Duran's going to be okay. These guys are gassed. And I hope that the Pistons can get some players back, because I know Tobias Harris, he's probably going to be out for a month, which is bad. Tobias Harris is a crucial component to this Pistons team with a high ankle sprain. We don't know about Isaiah Stewart. He also had an ankle sprain. We don't know about Asar Thompson, also an ankle sprain. We don't know about Karis LeVert. Marcus Sasser's out for another month. So I think Dennis Jenkins definitely, after last night, has earned a spot to be on the Detroit Pistons rotation right now. Straight up, I don't think we should be wondering who's the backup ball handler. I think Dennis Jenkins can handle that role right now until Jaden Ivey gets back. And I think Jaden Ivey, again, he should be reevaluated by the end of this week. So as far as missing all of these players, man, you're missing 6 of your top 8 guys. The Pistons still clawed out a win from the dirt. Yes, it was against the Washington Wizards, but this is the NBA, y'all. This is the NBA. Anything can happen on any given night. CJ McCollum put up 42 points and then went ice cold in overtime. Courtesy of the Pistons defense, of course. Now, I've ranted long enough, and I could rant even more. But there was some real entertaining games last night. In my opinion, I think the Pistons one was the most improbable one. They were by no means an underdog. They're up against one of the worst teams in the NBA. But again, it was on the second leg of a back-to-back, missing 6 of their top 8 players, and it was the third game in 4 nights. But with the lineup like that, with Dennis Jenkins coming in, none of y'all know who Dennis Jenkins is. We know. Pistons fans know. This kid's a stud. He's shifty. I think he deserves some minutes on this NBA team. As much as I want to give the Pistons credit for, there's another team I got to give credit to, and it's the Miami Heat overcoming Donovan Mitchell's explosion to win the game in OT. I know I could have talked about a lot more with the Pistons as far as like actual stats go. Jalen Duren, 19 points, 14 rebounds. Javonte Green, 11 points, 11 rebounds. None of that even matters right now. Let's just move on to our next game. Miami, defeating the Cleveland Cavaliers, surviving this game. They were up, I think, by like double digits. They were up by 15, and they choked that lead away in the fourth quarter. Donovan Mitchell hit this unbelievable 3 to tie it up in OT. And then they drew up this play where there was 0.4 seconds left, and they threw a lob up to Andrew Wiggins, and he yammed it down, and they won the game. The Miami Heat are doing a lot right now, and I don't know how sustainable it is, judging by their offensive ratings. You know, you look at their numbers and you think, no way they can keep this up. Well, they've kept it up for 11 games so far in this season. So nothing's really telling me that they can't keep it up. They're playing incredibly well. I think this team truly means business right now. They're first in points scored, second in assists, 5 in steals, second in field goals made, 7th in field goals attempted, and they're 6th in field goal percentage. When you're shooting that much and still shooting that well, that could be sustainable. And my favorite thing about the Miami Heat right now is they're doing it by commission. They're really doing this by commission. And I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it 3 times, I can say it 100 times. Andrew Wiggins was an unbelievable pickup that nobody was really talking about when he was in the trade package of Jimmy Butler. I'm a big Andrew Wiggins fan. I've always been a big fan of Maple Jordan. Always. 23 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, and he shot 8 for 13 from the field, and he hit the most crucial alley-oop of the night, obviously, to win the game. This is all without Bam Adebayo, all without Tyler Hero, and I'm still interested in to see how far this team could go without Tyler Hero. I'm not sure at this point whether Tyler Hero is going to benefit this team or he's going to hurt this team. In my opinion, Eric Spoelstra is an incredible head coach. We all know he's one of the best coaches in NBA history, right? Even though he's never won a Coach of the Year. That's a ridiculous stat, in case you didn't know that. And I think he'll figure it out when Tyler Hero returns. And that might upset Tyler Hero. We'll see. What I'll say about this Miami Heat team is they don't really have one reliable guy to go to, even with Bam on the court. Bam's not a guy that you're just going to give it to and like let him cook, right? Bam's the guy that you want to set up for, right? Norman Powell dropping 33 points with a team high of a plus 17, shooting 8 for 19. Not his most efficient night, but he still put in 33 points, courtesy of having 14 free throws in the night. Pele Larson was serviceable, shot 50%. Davion Mitchell, serviceable as always, 11 points, 8 assists. Jaime Jaquez Jr., my favorite player on this team at this point, 22 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, and 7 for 12 from the field, 8 for 8 from the free throw line. Jaime Jaquez, I might get a jersey of him. I love this guy. I love him. And I was very hard on him last year because I thought he peaked in his rookie season. Well, he's peaking right now. And I think this is just the start of Jaime Jaquez. Once his jumper improves, If it ever improves, that's a great, great player to have on your team, on any team. Khalil Ware obviously can't replace Bam Adebayo, but what Khalil Ware has shown glimpses of is getting rebounds. And then sometimes he doesn't. Well, last night was one of those nights where he did. He had a double-double with 14 points and 20 rebounds. That's beautiful. 7 for 14 from the field, 0 for 1 from deep. The Miami Heat are incredible. I don't want to talk about Simone Fontecchio, Nikola Jovic, Drew Smith. Like, we know all the Miami Heat. If you are a part of the Miami Heat, then guess what? You're probably going to get some real burn to see if you can do it. And these players are proving that they are NBA athletes. I'm a huge fan of the Miami Heat this season. I think what we're witnessing right now is just amplifying how great of a coach Eric Spoelstra is. Now, what I will say about the Miami Heat is the only thing that truly concerns me is the sustainability of this team. You know what you're going to get from a Tyler Hero and a Bam Adebayo. What you don't know are these role players. And what I'll say is the Miami Heat, I think right now, are undefeated at home. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they're undefeated at home. So that means 4 of their losses have happened on the road. The NBA's biggest concern, not concern, but the most known and famous trend that we've had for decades and decades and decades is that role players perform better at home. And we're seeing that with the Miami Heat. They have a lot of role players. Your Simone Fontecchios, your Davion Mitchells, your Nikola Jovic, your Drew Smith, your Khalil Ware, these guys don't perform well on the road. They might have a one-off game, sure. But when you look up and down this roster, they don't have him. They have a Tyler Hero. They have a Bam Adebayo. Tyler Hero is their guy. He is their guy on the offensive side. So if they need offense, I'm not worried really about Miami. The issue is if Tyler Hero's not feeling it, Tyler Hero's not going to be moving that ball around to get other people into it. So something that I think you should keep a lookout for the Miami Heat moving out to 7-4 is what is their plan? Not just end game. I'm talking what is their plan long term throughout this season. I cannot judge this team until they get Tyler Hero and Bam back. Bam should be back any day now, but I cannot properly judge this team's outcome without Tyler Hero because right now they're a playoff team. I can't imagine they get worse when you add an all-star in Tyler Hero. But I am curious to see what happens because I know Pat Riley and I know he's not afraid to trade somebody. So could they be in the John Morant market? I hope not. Personally, I am not a fan of John Morant's play. I hope they don't do that, but there are a lot of other really good players out there that I think, they're star hunters, man. Miami star hunters. I just can't properly judge this team. Now on the other side, I would like to give a special shout out to Donovan Mitchell having 28 points and 15 rebounds. Is that right? I could have swore Donovan Mitchell had more points than that. Is that right, y'all? I guess it is. I swear I thought there were so many. Yeah, he had 28 points, 8 assists, and 15 rebounds. Okay, shout out Donovan Mitchell. I thought he honestly had a better game than that. That's why I put overcome Donovan Mitchell's explosion. I guess it was just that last really huge 3 that he hit. I'm sure he had a big fourth quarter as well. In case you guys don't know, I am in an adult basketball league, and our first game was last night. We got smoked by 25 points, but I got mine, so I'm not really too worried about it. First game of the season, I'm not too worried. Jared Allen, 14 points, 7 rebounds. DeAndre Hunter with a game-losing play. Unfortunately, he got screened off and just couldn't get back on D, and Andrew Wiggins had that open hoop. DeAndre Hunter's a great player, but when you're missing a Larry Nance Jr., you're missing a Max Strus, you're missing a Tyrese Proctor, who I really like. Unfortunately, some of these guys who typically only play like 16 to 20 minutes are going to play more minutes, right? Now, the Cavs and Heat have the same record. And I'll tell you all this much. The reason I haven't talked a whole lot about the Cleveland Cavaliers yet, it's quite simple. It doesn't matter. And I feel bad for the Cavs in this sense. It doesn't matter what they do in the regular season at all. It doesn't matter. Teams like the Pistons, teams like the Heat, teams like the Hawks, Magic, those kinds of teams, they need to outperform whoever they go up against in the regular season. Teams like the Cavaliers, nobody cares. And that's not because like they think Cleveland Cavaliers basketball is boring. They're one of the most entertaining teams to watch. That's because, well, they played as well as they did last year, and they got eliminated in the second round in 5 games. And then same thing the year before, and then the same thing the year before. So you can have like a year, maybe 2 years of getting a lot of wins, and people will still care. Like they'll convince themselves and say the Cavaliers, oh, this is the year, it's different. And I think a lot of people were saying that last year. And then the playoffs came in. My God, I mean, yes, they had injuries, sure, but everybody is injured in the playoffs. Everybody. That's why you need a deeper team and not just a star-studded team. The NBA has changed. You know, a top-heavy team isn't really going to beat a nice balanced team. So I feel for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Nobody cares. You can go out and win 75 games. You can break the record. Nobody will care because they care about what you do in the playoffs. So we'll see. I think this season has been a little rough for the Cavs. They smoked my Pistons on national television. But I think this has not been a good start to the season. And yes, they got Darius Garland back. He's not looking great. 2 for 9, 11 points. Evan Mobley's still looking great. He played the second most minutes of the game last night with 39 minutes. He had 21 points and 10 rebounds, 5 assists. So, I mean, he had the best game out of anybody here. But, yeah, I mean, when you look and yikes. Yeah, I mean, down the roster, just not a consistent effort all around. I want to give my flowers to the Miami Heat, genuinely. They're impressing me. I know they're impressing a lot of Heat fans out there, and I think they can keep it up. It just all depends, like, what do they look like by the end of this year? I don't know. They seem like a team that's always hyperactive around the trade deadline. I don't think that they're going to blow it up in the midst of, like, overperforming. So we'll see. We'll see what they can do. I'm excited for Heat fans. Now, on to our next game. I would like to talk about the Orlando Magic overcoming the Portland Trail Blazers. Unbelievable comeback. The Magic were up 14 in the fourth quarter. They got outscored by 8 in the fourth. And what I saw in this game was a team that did not want to win. Denny Avdia, back-to-back threes. To bring them back into the game. Jeremy Grant with a beautiful and one alley-oop. That was gorgeous. And then on the other side, Paolo Banchero misses 2 free throws. And they looked stagnant. It looked like they didn't know what they wanted to do. And it looked like another classic Orlando Magic game where they have the lead and they just choke. And then Paolo Banchero got the ball, and I thought he was going to settle for a 3 when I was watching this. I cannot be the only one that thought that. I thought he was going to settle for a 3. Magic lose. Coach fired. Instead, he used his 6'10", 6'11", 250-pound frame, drove it to the hoop, got that huge layup and the foul. Portland scores on the other side, and then guess what? Desmond Bane pulls it from deep and hits the buzzer-beating, game-winning shot, and the crowd went crazy. They went crazy. I think I could eat my words literally in their next game, but this, you can't talk me off this cliff either. This is the type of game that gets your team on the same page. This is the kind of game that makes everybody look at each other and say, we're not ass. We're fine. You had Paolo Banchero, 28 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 10 for 18 shooting. Wendell Carter Jr. with his best game of the season, 19 points, 8 for 12. Desmond Bane, 22.7 assists in the game winner. This Franz Wagner as well did not have a horrible night. He just wasn't touching the ball. 19 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 for 10 from the field. So when you look up and down this roster, obviously they're missing Mo Wagner, but he's not going to improve them like beyond belief. What you need out of this team is consistency. They're 5-6 right now. I'm not going to sit here and overhype a team that I believe is not even in the play-in right now. But what I can do is give credit where credit is due. I think this Orlando Magic team still needs to get to know each other better. I think they still need to practice more together. I think they still need to improve upon the little things. It's too much iso ball. It's too much ball watching. That's what was happening in my basketball game last night. It was just way too much ball watching on offense and defense. This team should have a good defense. They should not be one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. This team should have a better offense. All it takes is structure. You just need a more consistent play calling and to put the ball up in the hoop, man. There's no reason this team is as bad as they are. There's no reason. And last night, I think that is a sort of win that could really push them to the top. They're 25th in assists. You're not going to win many games like that. 29th in three-pointers made as well. Up next, they're against the New York Knicks as well. So we'll see. That will be a huge test. And I'm not a Magic fan. In fact, I think it's because of Twitter. Because people always want to compare Cade and Paolo and Cade and whoever the hell else. I don't know, man. It seems like the Pistons already now, on Twitter at least, are getting a lot of hate. Same with the Magic. They're getting a lot of hate. I don't know what's up with the new gen NBA fans, but people seem to they want players to perform poorly. And not even when they're up against your team, right? Like if I'm against the Magic, I want Paolo to have a horrible game. I mean, that's no brainer, right? I want Franz to have an awful game against the Pistons. But when they're up against the Celtics, the Trailblazers, the Knicks, Atlanta, when they're against these teams, I want them to go crazy. I want them to succeed. I want them to look like the potential that everybody saw in them. I don't know what's up with new gen fans where they're just hate watching. There's a guy on Twitter. I don't know what his name is. I muted him. I could not take the negativity. He tweeted about Cade's bad game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then he never tweeted about the Pistons since. That was 2 weeks ago. Last night, he was sure to get a tweet out immediately talking about Cade's shot percentage from last night. Listen, when you're down 6 of your top 8 players, empty the clip, man. I'm from the generation where if nobody else wants to shoot that basketball, then by all means, I'm shooting that thing every single time I touch it. And they were good shots. They weren't bad shots. That's the thing. He was not shot chucking bad shots. He was attempting good shots. So I don't know what's up with a new gen. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. But I mean, it does relate to Paolo as well. I don't know why people are so against these young stars trying to live their dream. And I don't know. Back in my day, people would root for people just when they're not against your team, you know? That's how I was, at least. I don't know. That's how I was raised to be an NBA fan. Now, last but not least, this podcast is not going to be that long today, y'all. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch all of these games live. I had to watch almost all of the condensed versions. Other than the Heat game, I literally caught the overtime of that game. And then I caught the Pistons fourth quarter and overtime. So all these games I had to just catch up on and watch the 15-minute condensed versions of them. What else happened? Because a couple more things did happen. I want to talk about that Bucks-Mavs game because I watched this entire second half. The Dallas Mavericks were up. In fact, they were up by 13 in the fourth quarter. Or in the third quarter, right? And then they got outscored 37-26 by the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis finished with 30 points, 8 rebounds, 11 for 18 from the field. Missed a wide open back scratcher dunk at the end of the game. That sort of sealed this game and Mavericks not choking the full lead and winning. Cooper Flagg had his career high so far, 26 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. I thought he had a spectacular game. I thought this is where Cooper Flagg looked the best so far. He shot 9 for 15, 1 for 5 from deep. So if you could just get that 3-point to fall a little bit more, you're looking at a consistent 25 per game score at his rookie year. Obviously, they're missing a lot of players right now with Kyrie and Anthony Davis and Derek Lively. This team, I feel for. Obviously, I've talked about the Dallas Mavericks fan base countless of times. When it was late game and the Dallas Mavericks were inbounding it and they were up, I believe it was, who was it? It was Kyle Kuzma who grabbed Cooper Flagg's jersey and his back, and it was on the inbound play. So when they passed it into Cooper, he was falling onto the floor after Kyle Kuzma had grabbed his jersey. They lose the ball. Kyle Kuzma gets the ball, runs it down the court, gets an easy dunk. All of a sudden now it's a game. And Cooper had some huge, big, ginormous plays at the end of this game. But when they were down by 3, PJ, because Ryan Rollins went for a nice layup, then very next play, I believe, PJ Washington got fouled, taking a 3. We all knew after he missed like his 3 consecutive 3-pointers that I saw he missed. Apparently, PJ Washington shot 1 for 7 from deep, 4 for 11 from the field. We all knew that first free throw went in. He needs 3 to tie the game. First free throw went in, second missed. So the third one, he had to miss it on purpose. He actually had a really good miss. Cooper got up in the air, and I thought he was going to put it back in. He didn't. Dallas Mavericks lose. Now, when Cooper flag fell on the court and they went and got a dunk, fans knew it was over, even though they were still, I think, in the lead or at least tied. Fans knew it was over. So all you hear in the crowd was, "Fire Nico," clap, 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 clap. Fire Nico. How does he still have a job? What does he have against this franchise that he still has a job? I'm out of ideas. I genuinely don't understand how that man, after what he did to this team in this city, still has a job. He should have been fired months ago. I'm not sure I quite understand it. This team's not good. The Dallas Mavericks are not good. Cooper Flag had his best game of his career. PJ Washington, 4 for 11. Daniel Gafford, 2 for 8. Max Christie, 5 for 12. Brandon Williams, 4 for 12. Najee Marshall, 4 for 8. Musa Sissy had a good game, 3 for 4. Klay Thompson off the bench, 2 for 7. I tear up every time I see Klay Thompson enter the court. D'Angelo Russell, 2 for 6. Yeah, this team's just not good, man. They're just not good. On the other side, the Milwaukee Bucks, hey, man, they clawed that one out. They I don't think they deserved that win at all. They move on to 7-4. Miles Turner didn't have a good game, 3 for 12. Gary Trent Jr. didn't have a good game, 1 for 4. AJ Green had a decent game, 4 for 9. Ryan Rollins was not good, but he hit the big shot, 5 for 13. Kyle Kuzma off the bench, 26 points, 10 for 17 from the field. I think Kyle Kuzma, and I think if you guys watch the Milwaukee Bucks, you'll understand what I'm talking about when I say this. It seems like every game, Kyle Kuzma is just getting that Wizards filth off of him. He was a shot chucker. He was taking dumb shots, bad shots, missing a lot of good shots in Washington. Over here, it seems like every game, he is slowly but surely getting that muck off of him. In my opinion, Kyle Kuzma has played incredible so far this season. And I think he's a crucial reason as to why they're above 500 and they're 7-4. Milwaukee fans can attest, man. Kyle Kuzma is over. He is, what's the word? He's impressing everyone. You guys know what the word I'm trying to come up with. Yeah, man. Kyle Kuzma has been a huge help to this team, and I love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Now, all this is without Kevin Porter Jr., who is still out. Taurean Prince, I think, is going to be out for a month as well. Yeah, that was a good win. That was a good win by the Milwaukee Bucks. And in another nail biter, we have the San Antonio Spurs in Chicago. And the Spurs pull this one out. The Spurs outscored the Chicago Bulls 32-19 in the fourth quarter. That's not a typo. They scored 32 to Chicago's 19. Now that's nuts. Mind you, the Bulls were missing Josh Giddey, still Kobe White. So they were undermanned. And I think on the other side, yeah, De'Aaron Fox has improved this team immensely. Immensely. I think he's played in 2 games so far. And the Spurs have looked like a completely different team now. Stephon Castle is great at playing off the ball. He did not shoot well last night, but he had 19 points. De'Aaron Fox, 21 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. In my opinion, De'Aaron Fox doesn't even need to be a playmaker here. If they need a playmaker, they have Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle can be that playmaker. And there you go. Last night, he had 11 assists. De'Aaron Fox does not need to be a playmaker on this team. Because Stephon Castle and Victor Wembanyama already have that 1-2 punch connection. They don't need De'Aaron Fox to be a playmaker. They need him to be a scorer. That's the only thing that this team was missing, is just more scoring outside of Wemby. Guess what? They got it. De'Aaron Fox is a great finisher, great closer in these end games. And yeah, I think this team is going to look very, very dangerous each and every game on. Victor Wembanyama had 38 points in 36 minutes, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 5 blocks, 11 for 19 from the field, and 6 for 9 from deep. Hit that game-winning, game-sealing three. Devin Vassell didn't barely touch the ball. He had 4 points, 2 for 4. Harrison Barnes, 7 points, 2 for 4. And these are like the amount of shots that these guys should be getting up, like around 6 to 7, right? I just said 6, 7. Oh, God. De'Aaron Fox, keep putting the ball in the hoop. He's just going to get the rust off. He's going to look better and better each game. This whole team's going to look better and better each game. French Vanilla went crazy. Luke Cornett, 16 points, 6 for 6 from the field. Unbelievable game. Keldon Johnson doing what Keldon Johnson does and scoring off the bench. Julian Champagnie is losing more and more minutes on this team. 0 for 5. He had 0 points for the game. Jeremy Sohan, 0 for 1. Jeremy Sohan's not good. Sorry. He's just never has a good plus minus. Ever. Yeah, man. This team, San Antonio Spurs, man, y'all got a longtime fan out of me. I love this team. And I think having De'Aaron Fox now only increased what this team could look like. And I can't believe people are saying trade De'Aaron Fox. Now, obviously, they're missing Dylan Harper, their rookie, due to injury. So when they have him off the bench, this team's going to look even freaking better, man. The De'Aaron Fox re-addition, we didn't really get to see him in Wemby last year. We didn't really get to see him in a Spurs jersey. I think he only played like 6 games before he sat out for his surgery. De'Aaron Fox, people forget how good he is. They forget. He's a top 10 point guard in the NBA. And now he's next to Victor Wembanyama. Stephon Castle, you be the playmaker. De'Aaron Fox, you get the ball and you freaking score that thing. Genuinely. Just put that thing in the freaking hoop. And that's all we're going to need out of you. You're not going to need to play make a whole lot. And now a couple other games. I don't really want to break them down. The Hawks beating the Clippers. Clippers suck. That's 5 in a row, I think. Suns looking good. The vibes are looking great. Shout out to Grayson Allen dropping 42 points. An explosion against the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans suck. Grayson Allen doesn't suck. He's having an incredible year. I think his best year of his career. Shout out Grayson Allen, man. Put him on the Pistons. Yeah. And then the Lakers beating the Hornets. Pretty much an easy win, but Miles Bridges did have 34 points. That's going to do it for all the recaps other than, oh, sorry, I forgot. What game was very entertaining for me? I'm not going to lie. It was the Minnesota and Utah game. If this game was a little bit closer, it got close at the end, but Keontae George was looking good. Ace Bailey had a crazy dunk in the end game. But yeah, Anthony Edwards, 35 points. Keontae George had 27. I'm a huge fan of the Utah Jazz. A huge fan of what they got going on over there. It sucks that Walker Kessler's out and Lauri Markkanen came back to earth. But I think that team is so much fun to watch between Ace Bailey, Keontae George. I always confuse Keyshawn George and Keontae George. Keyshawn for the Wizards and Keontae for the Jazz. Yeah, I love this team. Kyle Filipowski. I really like the Utah Jazz. They're a fun team to watch. Guys, that's going to do it for today's podcast. I hope you all understand there were some wild games last night that I just wanted to dive deep into. Again, we did not do this podcast live, unfortunately. I forgot to mention at the beginning of this. But podcasts are still Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Okay. And that's when we do them live. And then they're posted around 10 to 10:30 a.m. Guys, I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thanks for watching / listening. I apologize for not having my normal vibe, my normal energy. Long night. I'm beat. Have a blessed day. And we'll see y'all tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Bye-bye.